framework, hotels, etc., will not have to reapply multiple times. So that discussion is already happening. When before Mr. Singh retired, under his leadership, we have had multiple discussions with the Ministry of Commerce. They are working on it, but we believe that digitization of the permissions framework. So when we say single window clearance, you should really have a single e-window clearance where on your phone you can do multiple level clearances like the way we do for a DigiLocker. Everything is available. The third key aspect is, and as Mr. Singh rightly mentioned, many states have apps. We should look at a national inventory of experiences. Imagine at a single place, India is a land of a trillion experiences. And today we are no longer a hotel company or an airline company or a bus company. We are a company of experiences. Everybody is redefining themselves. They come to experience. So we should have a national inventory of millions of experiences on a single place. I mean, the Incredible India platform has been ready, the prototype is ready, and they are already listing what you can do in each state, but it should be, and that should become a national single place for experiences. And two more aspects, there are multiple things to consider, is the carrying capacity. I think as someone was rightly mentioning in the morning, the fact that in Spain, for example, I'm not sure how is that working because there's so much over-tourism there, but imagine each destination. If you want to go to a destination in the morning or tomorrow, you get to know immediately whether a destination can be gone to. And that can be digitally enabled, because if all the hotels are booked, if the streets are not available, if the streets are going to be chock-a-block, then the destination itself flashes a warning. This is a no-visit destination. Imagine that in the country we all plan for a Shimla or a Mussoorie or a Nainital or Mount Abu. We know that after 5 days the destination is going to be chock-a-block. Automatically we will plan for a new destination. That itself is for a new revolution. The aspect of sustainability. I think today, because of, as Mr. Singh rightly mentioned, we are the torch bearers of digitization in the world, and it's acknowledged everywhere in the world. The topmost CEOs of digital companies are Indians, right here, like our brothers and sisters. We should have that panel where it shows the amount of electricity consumed, amount of power, food wasted, amount of water wasted or saved, amount of garbage managed, all of that at a digital framework where for municipalities, for states, for destinations, for private service providers, where it's name and shame or name and fame. And automatically everybody will, I think, align to it. One word of caution is, I understand, as I was listening to a news report yesterday, that out of say 5,000 digital attacks that happen every day, India has 50% of them, which means because we are becoming more prominent, and that number, I'm sure that number is different, that's just a number I saw, there are more and more digital attacks happening on government sites, on private sites, on all of us. So, and the cyber security gap of skilled manpower is around 40,000. So one key request that we will take forward, that our cyber security teams should be ramped up, the skills should be ramped up, and more so focus around tourism as well, because if we have to reach a 2047, I'm very happy with the mentioned $3 trillion target. I was very audaciously had proposed it. If you have to reach a $3 trillion economy, we need to take our digitization penetration from 20-25% today to 50-60%. We have millennials having digital businesses in their hands. All of this can only happen if we are all safe and secure digitally. Thank you. You've been a lovely audience. Namaste. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ashish, for laying down the wish list, so to say, that we can have this, and igniting that thought process in all of us. We'll come to some of these issues when we come to the questions. I'd like to now invite Dr. Manohar Sajnani from Amity University, who has a great deal of experience in this area.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll just set the presentation on, asking an academician to speak for 5-10 minutes, maybe a little injustice, sir. Mr. Chair, because when you come prepared, you share experience.
You can take the maximum limit of time.
Thank you, sir. But then I'll quickly, browse through some of the presented slides, which I know you know, so that and which have been covered in the morning. I think in the morning session was so illuminating, so enlightening that I was wondering. I mean, all that I planned in my presentation is already covered. So, I was thinking what to speak, but thanks, Mr. Chair, for setting the tone. Now, I would be quickly touching upon three aspects during my brief presentation, and this presentation will remain with FAST, can be shared with all the, delegates present for the seminar. Growth. We have been talking about growth. Even Ashish spoke about 1.5 to 3 trillion economy, when, how, growth. Now this growth is on two aspects. One, the one who are going to receive it, and the other who are going to play key role in this growth. That means growth in terms of economy, in terms of social aspects, in terms of environmental aspects. I have to think as a researcher on all aspects, which I will do during my presentation. Quick first. Enthusiasm. How reciprocative, how responsive I am when I am doing this. As an individual, good. States can play their role, but yes, states have to be enthusiastic to give, to accept, to take. And to what extent I want to pay back to the industry. So far the experience is that industry receives the revenue, but it is not paid back. But to what extent I am going to pay back. That's why public-private partnership model, how much, in the morning the Additional Secretary mentioned about Kerala. Kerala is primarily on public-private partnership model. Discovery. So what we end up with discovery, where we land, sir, I'll predict the future. In my last slide, I'll give you the future. Digital tourism, wonderful. Tourism experience is nothing but what kind of experience I am going to deliver to you. That's very important. This is the basic statistics in morning we have been talking about. 1990, journey started. 2000, many apps started. We also caught up same time, but our pace was a little slow. We Indians are always late starters, but we are great achievers. So this young generation, you are in the age of Gen G. I should mention about that. Gen G. So you will have the hold of this. We probably are in generation X. So you are in generation G. Great. So now we have all this AI, machine learning, big data, machine learning, generative AI will come to that. Globally, travel tourism has, emerged, it has recovered post-COVID, but we are again slow. We are again slow in our recovery for some reasons, known, unknown. We all know that. But there are some regions who have recovered very fast. Even if I talk about West Asia, these countries have recovered, they have outpaced their pre-COVID phase, 20%. In some other parts, Europe, Africa and Americas have recovered to about 90%. We are in the range of 70 to 80%. Why? India has ranked 39th, dropped 10 points as compared to 2019 in our competitive index. What actually makes the difference? There lies the, I think somebody spoke about that destination management organization role. As a researcher, we may say that one destination is more competitive in its natural and cultural resources, other may be good at creative resources, but both may be less competitive in the management of destination. There lies the difference. That makes the difference X and Y. Therefore, destination competitive advantage is not by accident. It is planned. It is planned. So here I would like to quote Stephen DeFi, he's a great marketeer, sociologist. He says the battle gaining competitive advantage is no longer a battle of products and services, well relevant for tourism, but a battle of tourist perceptions Therefore, it is a battle that takes place inside the tourist's mind. That's the difference that I can make through digital technology. Experience that I bring in the mind of the tourist that brings the difference. Digital tourism is not only simpler bookings, what we say, I book a ticket, I pay. That's end. No. It is not the end of the application of digital technology. It starts from pre-plan tour, pre-planned stage to post-plan. Today, I'll come through quickly. It represents a new approach to the kind of experience that professionals in the sector can offer to tourists. Digital transformation, that's the growth. Digital transformation is the stage. Transformation is important for any sector, for any industry. We may have digitized our data, we may have digitized our resource, but transformation is very important. Translation is very important. Has not only changed the tourism business, not in India yet. So somebody mentioned in the morning about National Digital Tourism Mission. I think we have got 3 secretaries sitting here. But what is the status of our National Digital Tourism Mission? It has got beautiful framework about directories, repositories, resource, and then interface. This unified interface can play a dynamic role in the growth of tourism in a digital manner. But God knows where it's at. But there are countries smaller than us reaping benefits of tourism by using that interface. Believe you me, sir, many countries have copied our model. 2022, when we came out with that framework in March 2022, I remember when it came out, many countries copied our model and they have moved ahead. But we are still the same point. Wonderful. The use and influence of social media. Social media is the backbone today for our tourism marketing. If I'm not present on social media, my existence is challenged by one and all. If I'm not hitting social media every half an hour, probably my students may be, taking my pictures, their pictures and putting it on social media. Our director is addressing at seminar of FAST. That quick is the response of social media. And how many responses I get on social media makes a difference. The integration of new technologies, we have been talking about IoT, machine learning, big data, AI, so on and so forth. Emerging technologies, that is more important for a sector like tourism, which can generate maximum employment by investing minimum amount of money. And at many levels of skills. Probably I cannot recall as a researcher, as an academician, any industry which can generate employment for all levels, unskilled to specialist. I can remember a doorman opening the door in a hotel, needs no skills, to a chef, who is a specialist. So that's the industry we're talking about. Tourism is a digital era today. People and business connect. Ashish presented data. We have represented from Visa. Today when I look at digital transactions, commissions report, every 3 months they come out with the report. How many billions of transactions happening digitally? Rightly said, nobody carrying a wallet today. We are digitally connected. Wonderful. So we are connected. People and business connect, exchange information. The exchange of information today is so important. Not only information, but even businesses are exchanged digitally, virtual tours. Now I can show you, I can project my property, I can take you on a virtual tour by sitting here. I'll take you through. My last slide will take you through. Execute transactions. So quick, so safe. If I don't get an OTP on my phone, I don't pay. It's so safe. The results of successive advances in telecommunications, 5G, 6G, we are ahead of China for 6G. 900 million internet users today, only 900 million. And see the rate of evolution. Tomorrow, if we have got more internet users in the country, you will have better digital impact. Computers, databases, networks, internet, mobile and wireless technology, global positioning systems. Today, when I have to track, the footprints of tiger in our national sanctuary, park, what do? Digitally we track it, and I know where I can find tiger on a particular day. Smartphones, everybody talks about smartphones. Smartphones is very important. That keeps us connected. ICT, in the morning, Gustis has mentioned about ICT. Gustis has covered everything. Digital tourism has a significant economic importance since the internet and digital, I will not cover this, from searching to purchasing cycle. 3 stages, from searching to purchasing, from writing reviews to publishing them. Reviews. Today I don't travel without referring to review about a hotel, review about an agent, review about the airline. Oh, somebody wrote on the Air India's flight Chicago-Delhi, CEO of a company from US. Immediately Mr. Campbell reacted and he said, I refund the money. Now tell me, if this media, if the digital is not there, would Mr. David Campbell come to know about this? No, he will not. But he immediately promised to reimburse the entire business class fare. The CEO wanted. Various levels. I'm an academician, so I prepared it for the young minds, how they can pick up idea. Therefore, we must not make the mistake of believing that the digital component play a role only in booking and payment of a trip. No, it is not. Digital transformation manifests itself along all phases of journey, following the path the tourist takes all through, right from the moment he conceives the idea. Oh, the moment that young child says, today my ma'am asked me that we should go on a holiday. Papa, Mama, where are we going for a holiday? That clicks in the mind of parents. We have to take our children. That's the time when we think about digital. I'll quickly rush through these slides because time is a constraint. I'll skip those slides. It offers better, today we are in the age of meta search engines. Meta search engines, they provide you quick, comparative data, which is better and why, and at no cost. At no cost, because cost is paid by OTA, where they pay per click they pay. Better travel search engines, dynamic price engines, dynamic price. I book, economy, premium economy, business, first class, dynamic pricing in the same category. Wonderful. Mobile applications are increasing every day. IoT-based devices, for example, by hotels for voice control of air conditioning, sensors are being used today. Sensors are primarily responsible for bringing green businesses, green technology, green investments. That's the role of IoT. Principle every meta search. This you must remember, Generation G, because this is the age when you are going to take the lead. Meta search engines is very important. Get expertise on this, how to handle this. This is very important. Your company may ask you to work on this. Some of the leading meta search engines which are leading today, of course, the most recent report which came up in August says Booking.com is number 1. TripAdvisor has gone down to number 2. Earlier TripAdvisor was number 1, but now it has come down to number 2. You can see, you won't find any one of them from India. Can we have from India? We will have. The prediction says in 2027, 2 of the leading will be from India. Same report says. Sir, 2 more minutes. I'll skip this, much has been spoken about it. Future of travel. Now I'll take you through a journey. It will give you the substance of. So what could travel look like 10 years from now based on, this may prepone to 7 years. Now based on some of the digital transformation in the tourism sector, let's imagine it from the traveler's perspective. I am the traveler. As I arrive at the airport, facial recognition technology, beacon technology, recognition, facial recognition technology. It scans my face, instantly checking me in and printing my bag tags, that Digi Yatra. My smart suitcase rolls automatically behind me, and as I breeze through security with no need to show documents. Everything is streamlined. Once at the gate, I am delivered a refreshing pre-flight cocktail curated just for me. AI, human thinking, based on my flavor preferences and past orders. As I sip a virtual reality headset to preview my upcoming hotel stay. I can well visualize everything. I virtually tour the property, view my customized rooms, and preview planned excursions around the area. After a quick electric tram ride to the plane, I settle into my ergonomic seat, which is well designed as per my back position. What is the comfort level for my back? That's the customization. Personalized, somebody in the morning mentioned, super hyper personalized service. Great. Equipped with biometric sensors that monitor preferences like temperature and lumbar support. L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. Lumbar support. Great. The in-flight meal that follows is delicious and tailored to my dietary needs. Everything is personalized. Great. Upon arrival, my smart luggage has already been transported to the hotel. A robotic bellhop meets and escorts me to my room. It requires no front desk check-in or wait. Over the next few days, an AI concierge provides suggestions for activities and restaurants based on my profile, booking everything through a unified travel app. Moving between destinations is simple with integrated mobility platforms and silent electric vehicles, green businesses, green environment. The trip is incredibly streamlined, personalized, sustainable, relaxing, and memorable. I finally take a vacation where I don't return feeling like I need a few more days to unwind. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the last slide. I will that.
I know we have been unjust to you, but we'll try and make up with the questions so that you are
Thank you,
able
sir.
to share some of your thoughts to you. But we have to, try and find time for the other speakers also. And we will give you time during the questions.
Thank you.
Now I'll invite Mr. Sridhar from Visa to share his presentation with us.
Hello. Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Sridhar. I am from Visa, the payments network that's present globally. I'm really glad to be here and thank you Dr. Zuchdi and FAST for the invitation to be speaking today with an esteemed panel led by Arvind sir. I want to quickly walk through, we heard this morning about several things on what could be some of the key drivers for tourism and growing tourism in India. I want to speak of some of the hows and specifically what, as Zuchi sir suggested, what is Visa doing in this space, at the end of which I'd love to obviously engage with the audience in terms of any collaborations, etc., that we can drive further. So without much ado, I don't know if you can see my screen.
Take it to slideshow.
Yeah, I'm trying. Okay, awesome. So globally, tourism has been growing, and post-COVID, we hear from a lot of people that after whatever happened, the various tragedies, etc., that happened during the pandemic, there's in general been a values reset among people. People want to go out, experience. It's no longer about accumulating, goods, but about accumulating experiences. And I think the world has pivoted, and we see that as Visa. Incidentally, Visa has almost 4.2 billion credentials, like cards, in the pockets of customers globally. We operate in more than 200 plus countries. And every payment transaction, they say that payment is the ultimate source of truth, because you might desire a lot of things, but ultimately you end up spending only for tourism worldwide. The transaction numbers are not growing as fast, but people are willing clearly to loosen their pockets and spend a lot more. So we've done a study with Euromonitor, and I just want to quickly call out some slides here. India is expected to have among the fastest growth, and though this is outbound tourism. So we did this survey across all of Asia, and we were totally surprised when just after the pandemic, Indians were number one across all of Asia in saying that they want to travel, and many of them did want to travel abroad. And I think Vilas has mentioned this morning. How do you track that? How do you even get some of those folks to stay back and spend in India? But clearly, what is here to stay is Indians are now really big travelers and have also started becoming big spenders abroad. So the fast-growing travel categories, as per our study, also showed that interrail transport, and this is one area where I think we should be doing a lot more on, is enabling international transport, in international payments on rail. I think we already have some phenomenal train packages, the Deccan Odyssey, Palace on Wheels, etc. And we've got now amazing infrastructure with world-class infrastructure with Vande Bharat trains. I think if we can facilitate and get more people to start using this, because globally, Europe, US, etc., international tourists love to, move from point A to point B in a very reliable and a comfortable space. Guided tours are second, museums and cultural sites, and we have no shortage of these, national parks and attractions, etc. Experiences, and of course luxury hotels and food and dining, those are a given. That's something that travelers seem to crave for. So when you look at India, and specifically how do we grow inbound tourism via key drivers of tourism growth, these are the key parameters. Obviously you need to have demand, and for demand you need awareness, you need storytelling, and you need to cater to different needs, because different folks from different countries have different needs. Some prefer the beach, some prefer shopping, some prefer food. You need to have the right product, which is attractions, immersive experiences. Obviously, as Sir again mentioned this morning, the additional secretary, you need to have hotel capacity. You need to have capacity to provide context, and this whole concept around guided tours, food and dining, because that's something that people do look forward to when they travel, and wellness and medical. And this is very interesting. I was just talking to a NRI recently returned couple after 19 years in the US. They were, and what they said really amazed me. They said, my husband had a fracture and we got to meet an orthopedician the next day. Can you imagine? I'm like, yeah. So they said, well, in the US, you might have to wait 3 to 4 months to get that appointment. And this is Indians, right? These are folks who have stayed here, who lived abroad 19 years. Now imagine if every American knew this story. There was this girl, I think she's a social media influencer. She posted a very similar thing. Her boyfriend had an incident and they were able to meet a specialist doctor, and she said it's unheard of. Right? So many things that we take for granted here is unheard of even in places like the West. So how do we, there's this huge opportunity to grow. Of course, Ayush is there, but also in terms of our vast and superior medical capabilities. Access, Ashish spoke of e-visas. I think that's a great growth phenomenon. And we've seen this again, with Indians traveling abroad, when you can simplify the visa process and when you can simplify connectivity, we love to travel. For example, we saw Vietnam grew 600%. I mean, 600%. Japan is growing. I mean, Indians are traveling all over the world, but there are some places where the moment there's an e-visa, there's certainty of getting that visa, and we are very last-minute planners, and that's one more thing our surveys tell us. Compared to the rest of the world, we're very last-minute planners, but we like zero friction, and I think it's important not only for the world to do that, so Indians travel more, but for us to also do that so we can bring more international tourists. travel safety, I think Jyoti ma'am spoke about it this morning, intercity and intracity transit, and I will touch upon that in a bit. And of course, some of the other enablers, digitization, I think the panel spoke about, how we are really ahead of the world on some of this. Hassle-free payments, and this is an area that Visa is very committed to simplifying. Travel insurance, digital connectivity, in which we've really grown leaps and bounds, and ultimately sustainability. So I'm just going to touch upon some of these areas in blue. That's hyper-personalization, on demand, on product, and I'll get straight to that in the interest of time. So we looked at, in our surveys, what are the traveler motivations for folks visiting India? Clearly, local cultural experiences and, someone talking about how they were able to make a pot, right? These are stories they can carry back home. This is how they immerse themselves in some of this. And we have a wealth of these, right? How do you kind of engage the international traveler there? There are leisure pursuits, and there's a lot of escape and relax, which if you go to Goa or you go to Shimla, you'll see a lot of those. So these are some of the key traveler motivations. I'm sure there are more, but these are the three big ones that we've picked. What we do is we typically work with tourism boards globally, and we're now also working with the tourism board in India to help create the analytics and insight for marketing and communication strategies. We're also talking to various state tourism boards. Essentially, everyone wants to understand what are the behaviors and preferences of visitors and tourists coming from different parts of the world. So there's visitor profiling, there's merchant preferences, there's card payment, and there's obviously some amount of benchmarking. So for example, a state with a lot of beaches might say, hey, there are 4 global beach destinations. Why is it that I'm unable to tap a traveler wanting to go to a beach? What are the other beach destinations doing? How do I compare which countries, what demographics are going there, and how do I therefore market myself? And I think this conversation is really amplified with the use of the right set of data. Like I said, and this is some study we did for one of the geographies worldwide. Clearly, if you look at India, we do a lot of spend on retail, India and China. But there are folks like, from France, tourists who do not spend as much on retail and shopping, but for them food and dining is really big. And that kind of shows. So you cannot just portray one experience, one message, doesn't work. This is the age of, as Sir pointed out, hyper-personalization. So you've got to get the right set of messaging to the right set of folks. We're doing a bunch of stuff on driving demand on digital marketing. We partnered with TripAdvisor on a campaign recently. And we said, look, how do you take India to the world? And part of my remit is to grow cross-border payments. And for that, I'm directly aligned with everything the tourism industry is trying to do to drive inbound tourism. So in this campaign, we had 4+ million impressions, all from US, Canada, UK, and Australia. We had a 6% click-through, which is among the highest in the industry. Clearly, we are able to engage the customer with these stories, right? And very recently, as we strengthen our product, I spoke of guided tours. Mr. Billa spoke about framing the context. It's important. No world site allows you to walk in and see a place without setting the context. It's important for the person to feel immersed in what they are going to be doing. And I think in this area, we are committed to doing this. So we've recently signed an MOU with the THSC, the Tourism and Hospitality Skill Council, to skill 20,000 Indian youth on digital savvy, on tourism relevant skills and guided tours. And so your story as a dignitary, I think that's something that I'm going to take away personally back to the team. Enhancing digital discovery, right? I spoke of food and dining. And this is something that we're launching very soon. We've done some interesting hotel and restaurant curations across India. We want to tell international tourists that, look, you come here, we'll take care of everything, right? We have the best restaurants in the world. You go to Bombay, you go to Delhi, wherever you are, right? The experiences are literally world class. You do have Michelin star chefs. You have our own, street food, which is absolutely delectable. And we see the mobile as a platform for engagement, so this is something that we'll be launching very soon. One of the areas on easy access we want to speak and serve from a policy standpoint. I think digital first approach to transit is very important. Right now, when a traveler comes in, you can't, and as much as we love UPI and use it, you cannot expect them to have it, right? Because UPI requires certain KYC, it requires account mapping, etc. So you need to tap into what the customer has, whether it's a wallet or a card or a digital credential. And worldwide, cities, for example, you go to UK, there's often an anxiety that, am I getting off at the right stop? Especially if you go to Singapore or Hong Kong, more so, right? Because sometimes the language could be a constraint. There's a bit of anxiety, am I paying the right amount, etc., carrying the right set of change. You just need to be able to tap the card you have in your pocket to go through, and as you tap the card out, it deducts the fare. You don't need to do anything. And I think transit globally, for example, London, and there's several such stories where people have said that tourism has grown in these cities with the introduction of digital transit solutions on cards. And this is what we call open loop payments. There's a graphic, but it was very heavy, so I just kind of used the image. So these are the various cities globally where visas enabled transit on Visa card. So if you're just carrying your Visa card, which has that Wi-Fi logo, which is horizontal, which says it's contactless, you'll be able to just tap in and tap out of any of these subway or metro gates globally. This is very light background, but essentially what I'm trying to say here, there's a big message. Internationally, everyone's now used to tap to pay, and you would not believe it. In India, tap to pay is probably about 20%, where people tap their cards on the POS terminal. But as the Indian travels abroad, that number becomes 50%, which means everyone is doing in Rome as Romans do. You're going and standing in a Starbucks, everyone's tapping, and you're not going to fish your card out. You also start tapping. It's a real cool thing to do, right? And interestingly, if you look at, these are the top 10 countries where tourists come to India. You wouldn't believe country number 3, let's say UAE, right? 38% is card tap, 61% is mobile tap. So I do this, I have a lot of fun. I mean, I used to, now every merchant knows it. I would just go and tap my phone because my card is provisioned on my phone. I don't need to do anything. It's extremely safe. All I need to do is unlock my phone and tap it, and it charges my card. Right, and Apple Pay is going to come to India soon, but this is there on Google, this is there on Samsung, all Android devices have this. That's the kind of penetration that you're seeing globally. US, of course, 33% and 15%, which is our number one inbound country. But a country like Singapore, Australia, right, 51 plus 48 is 99% are tapping. And suddenly they come to the country and you're asking them to do different things, asking them to give cash because they don't have Forex. Very, very non-seamless experience. And I think we have the capabilities. Ashish, you mentioned UPI. We recognize that UPI is widespread, but at the same time, we know that the international customer doesn't have UPI, right? So we're working on a low-cost POS, and we've rolled out like some, a few thousand odd machines, and this number is only going to grow in partnership with Paytm and Pine Labs, etc., where the same QR code reader for UPI that announces you paid 25 rupees or whatever, also has the ability to take tap. And suddenly, the same devices, the very small merchants you want international tourists to be shopping at, the street food counters, etc., will suddenly all be enabled for tap. And this is an area we want to certainly grow on, given the profile of customers. So, in summary, these are areas we're constantly working with, with merchant partners. We want to, and this you will see if you're at the international airport, if you come through recently at Delhi and some of the other airports, we're starting to tell tourists, Visa is a very recognized brand, and we are fortunate in that sense. We are probably the second or the third most recognized brand globally. For people to see that brand, there is a sense of, oh, okay, I'm in a place where, not much has changed from my country to here. I can pay easily, and this is the messaging we want to keep telling people, that you can pay. And obviously we want to tie it in with Incredible India visuals, and we've got a set of merchant partners who come forward and have put some very interesting offers for international customers. This is a pilot, but we want to kind of keep growing on this as we take this further. So these are a few things that we're doing on digitization and innovation, and would love to have a conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sridhar. Taking us through your digital journey at Visa. And now I'd like to invite